My name is Ronald Denning. Just finishing my 25th year here at Grandville High School. New classes we have in this great facility here is Automotive Technology A and Automotive Technology B. It is a 2-year program. They are 1-year classes each, and they're kind of set up in a, kind of like in a sequence where the 2 classes together kind of form one big curriculum. So it's not like B is more advanced than A, it's just more material. So that is designed so that at the end, students will be ready to take the ASE G1 certification test. And quite honestly, they could take other ones as well if they wanted to. But that's what it primarily is designed and set up for, so that they can, you know, go out and get a job somewhere that requires this ASE certification. And it is an entry-level test that they would be taking here. So that's good for 2 years. And with it being entry-level, they do not require the hours of work experience needed that the professional certification needs. So the idea is you get that certification, and in those 2 years, you get a job somewhere and you get those hours so that you can now upgrade it to the professional certification. So that's the program that we have here. Lots of options for the students. They can jump right into Automotive Technology A if they want, or they can kind of build up from Automotive Maintenance Repair to Engine Tech to these other 2 classes. So very grateful to have these opportunities here for the students. If you wrench on the weekend and you do a lot of work on cars and stuff like that, this might not be the class for you, because that's not who it's designed for. You know, just everyone knows someone, right, who's just, I don't want to touch a car, I don't want to lift the hood, I'm terrified. That's the class for them. So that's one option students can take. Another option is they can take Engine Technology. That class has been around for a long time, it's been modified a little bit, but in that class they learn about 2-stroke and primarily 4-stroke engines, and they can walk away learning an awful lot about a 4-stroke engine. They completely, when they learn about all the different systems within it, they take it completely apart in a structured lab sequence, and then when they're done with those labs, the whole thing is put back together, and then I always tell them it has to run before they can take their final exam. And we do that as well. So along the way, they take different measurements, and I say, you know, it's kind of setting themselves up so that they can find out and figure out, okay, if they have this engine and something goes wrong with it, 1, what is wrong with it? 2, what kind of repairs are needing to be done? You know, you think about your cylinder. Is it what's out of roundness, and the taper on the cylinder? What is that? You know, so that they can go for it and they know what to check. So I get a wide range of students in my classes, and then Shane here is a former student of mine, came into my classes with a good solid base knowledge. So Shane, can you talk a little bit about that and having that base knowledge to begin with going into a class like Engine Technology, and you know, what is a class like that? What kind of things are there for students that were like in your position that already have that base knowledge?
Yeah, so like I said, I have pretty good base knowledge, but this class really helped refine my skills more. You know, I knew the basics. I knew what a carburetor was. I could take one part and clean it, but I didn't like truly understand in depth how it worked, how it functioned. This class helped with that. You know, it really goes in depth and helps you, you know, learn the more in-depth stuff a lot.
So what would you say then for students taking like the Automotive Technology A class, which isn't a class that you'd had, but the class focuses a lot on things like diagnostic. You know, it's not about replacing parts all the time. It's about someone comes to you and says, hey, this is what's wrong with it. You know, this is what I'm experiencing, right? So can you figure out what's actually wrong with it? So how would you say then something like that for someone with you, if you can change parts, you know how to, you know, alternator, starter, all that kind of stuff, but someone comes to you, you know, so refining those kind of skills in a class like that, would you?
Yeah, so just, yeah, I mean, so anybody can unscrew a bolt and screw a bolt back in and change a part, but knowing what part to change and learning how to get there, you know, how to figure out what part actually needs to be changed is an important skill in this field. You know, you can't just throw parts at everything and hope you fix it. You need to know what you need to replace to fix the problem.
Especially when that customer is paying for those parts, right?
Exactly. My time in class, it was a class I looked forward to probably the most of any classes. It was something that I enjoyed, like work with my hands. It was a class where I could work with my hands. It was something I like doing. Some days it was just classroom going over slideshows, learning the basics. And some days it was you walk in the door and you get right to work, you get your hands dirty, you get to actually work on something. Right now I'm a service technician at Woodland Commercial Equipment, an outdoor power equipment dealer. Work on anything outdoor power equipment related. I would recommend this class. It's really a good starting point, whether you know nothing or you know a fair bit. It gives you that good base. You will learn something, and it will better prepare you for your career, no matter what. If you go into automotive or heavy diesel, this gives you the basics and the fundamentals that you need to go into this field. A huge thank you to Briggs Vanguard for donating these engines to the program. I know I would have loved to work on engines like these while I was enrolled in the class. It's not every day you see a company doing things like this to benefit the community, so that's awesome and really great to see.